Good morning, traders. Welcome to your pre-market prep, NQ pre-market prep on 12/12 Friday. Let's try to jump right in here and get this chart pulled up. We are currently looking at the 1 hour chart, and what we are going to look at first is this little area right here at the top. So we were talking about, here's this head and shoulders and this consolidation back here we've talked about several times in pre-market prep. This ain't a good sign right here. So you got to question, hey, are we going to be going down from here, is what you got to think of. Let's say that they open the market up today and they really want to test this trend line up here, this 1 hour. I mean, I plan on taking this whole area up here where this line is, that 850 area. Let's get a little bit better of a idea what area we're going to be looking at here. 850 to 870. I'm going to be short heavy all day if we can actually get back in that area, because look at these drops every time it tagged that zone. I don't know if it'll do that today, but it might. It being Friday and the way this has been getting rejected up here, it's kind of making me think that they might try to bleed this off this morning or today throughout the day, and it's a very good possibility that if we stay under the golden pivot, that's exactly what will happen. We might only get the pop back to the golden pivot just to come down some more. And so if we are thinking as far as it's going to bleed off today, we need to start thinking about where we might bounce or what we might get down to. And I know earlier in the week we had discussed some areas of the line in the sand type ordeal, and it was this zone box right here, this zone box right here, and this yellow line. You know, first we got to worry, we got that S2 pivot right down here. No, the S2 pivot is right there. We're looking at this zone box right here and this yellow line. So that zone box is from 335 to 365, and then that yellow line is 394, 395. You know, I'd be looking at this whole area first for them to maybe save this if we get down there. If they don't save it there, we will just have to update that in the Discord as it's playing out. You got to think, if that don't save us, we got this green line, 323, and then the middle of this zone box, or this blue line, is at 300, which your whole numbers are going to protect you for some bounces most of the time. It just depends. I mean, it could get pierced through. The whole number could, but if it did get pierced through, say if they pierce through 300, there's a yellow previous all-time high at 275, so they may sweep the whole number, tag that line, and bounce 100 points. That would not be uncommon for NQ to do. That S2 pivot is down at 214. Looks like it's a long ways away. It's only like 300 points, if that, and that's not much. You know, we kind of got to, I guess, part of me, what I don't like about all this is the way it gapped last night when the market opened back up. This whole box up here is a gap. You know, we closed up here, it opened up down here in this candle and closed right down here, and then it filled some of the gaps, so I moved my box up. But that's a lot right here. That's 700. You're looking at 130 something points in that gap still from where it opened last night and come down. after that big drive. And I'm sure it had something to do with some earnings. I don't keep up with earnings much anymore because it just don't matter to me. But I did read an article. I think it might have had something to do with Oracle's earnings after hours possibly. And, you know, I don't really follow all that unless I plan on playing in after hours on earnings, like if it was NVIDIA or something like I did. I'll pay attention to the news, but that's not really that important to me. So let's put this down, or well, let's look a little further back real quick and see. And there's not much to talk about to the upside unless they can break through this area up here that we was talking about. You know, if they drive this up, I'm expecting them to reject at the golden pivot. If they don't, I'm going to expect them to reject at this red line at 740. And maybe not for the day, but some first reaction I expect them to reject. And then I would love for it to get to this trend line right here, because I would short heavy up there more than likely after seeing what they've done up here with these wicks. You know, if they try to fake us out at the open this morning or something and they drive this up here real fast, I wouldn't trust that at all. I'd be ready to go in short and short it all the way back down to this trend line at the bottom, this green line. So let's move this down to the 15. See if it looks, what kind of looks we got with the 15. The chart ain't looking real good structure wise. It's looking pretty ugly. We got to the downside. Okay, so I got this zone put in right here already. That's 460 to 470, just below this trend line. I'm expecting it, you know, if they get down here, they might sweep at and bounce. And then this line down here is at 393, call it 395, and then of course 400 whole number might get us, if they're bringing it down. You see we got this back here where we got the bounce, and then the same thing happened right here. So initially you would think if we do get that pull down in this area, they might sweep 400 a little bit, tag this line, maybe sweep this line, this yellow line a little bit. You just have to be prepared for the possibility of the sweeps. We could get some wild ATR today and they try to whip it around, or they might open up and just start dragging this to the downside and maybe look for some decent bounces that might get you 30 points or better, maybe 50 or 60 points, possibly a 100-point jump. It really all depends on the speed of the move and the zone in which it gets to pop. I would say excuse me, I would say that if we was where we're at now, to say the market was to open in the next 5 minutes and it drove straight down to this yellow line in like the first 5 minutes, I would definitely play first reaction bounce for a 100-point jump right there. Might not get 100 points, but that's at 395. Oh yeah, I would play that, get us back into this box. And that's just, you can see what happened back here anytime we bounced off that line. Let's just take a quick look at that. So we come down here to this line, 395. There's 472 in that area, and it just kept going. Come over here and tag that line, and that candle closed at 557. So huge moves off that line. But you can also see, look at the move that got to the line. Huge candles down to that line. Now this is on the 15 minute now. It'll probably look a lot different on the 1 minute, but you probably have a little bit of bouncing going on in there. But still, them are huge moves with speed that got there. So if we got that here, most definitely going to play that out and see how that works out for us. Now, if we take that level out, if we take this level out right here at 395 area, I'll be looking for that next bounce around from about 330 to 340, more than likely. And I think that we should get it down in that area, I would think. But it don't matter. We might not. I know what Fridays can be like, and what the chart's been doing, and the way it's been rejecting this area up top. I mean, you need to be prepared for anything. If they decide to drain this off today, there's no telling how ugly that could actually be. Could probably get through that S1 pivot pretty easy. I mean, that S2, and then I guess I need to kind of have in mind what I would really think the line in the sand would be on that pullback. And I had some fibs pulled. You know what? Let's look at. I had some fibs pulled the other day, and I forgot. I think I took them off before I started pre-market prep. So let's pull the fibs real quick. It might give us a better idea here on what we might be thinking about for a pullback if they try to drag this down. So we're going to come down to this low on this trend line and go to this high up here. So got too many drawings on my chart. So right here is the 50% fib at 887, and then the 61.8 is 655. Now I'm liking this one right here. This 61.8 fib, if they pulled this back that far, where are we at? 568. Not quite 1,000 points. And then this 76.4 fib. Let's see here. Looks like it's at 366. I mean, that's a possibility. I like the way this 61.8 looks and where it falls. We got this red line at 591. We had this consolidation here where it got saved and pushed. Every one of these spikes back, these two spikes back here got close to the 76.4 fib. Plus there's a previous all-time high there at that fib. I would think that those will be lines in the sand. You know, if it got down to that one, though, we'd be over 1,000 points down. Thing is even if it dropped all the way down there, it'd still be a higher low compared to this. You know, you'd have to be really worried if we took this low out within the structure pattern that we're working with. If we took out 23,903 or whatever this is down here, that wouldn't be a good for us. Well, it just depends. I mean, I don't really care if it does or not. I'm going to play short or long. You just got to be able to adjust with the chart, what you're looking at. So, but we also need to try to have a good game plan put together. I don't think we'll get down to that today, but who knows? Who knows? It is NQ. Excuse me. Right now, I'd just be worried about these upper levels up here before we start today. Right before the market opens, I will throw in some precision entry zones and drop those in the live updates channel in Discord. We need to get a little closer to the opening bell before I put them in. I need to see if this market is going to move anymore, see what other kind of structure is put in before that 9:30 bell. Appreciate everybody who's tuned in this morning, and I appreciate everybody who's supporting the channel. And come join the Discord for free if this is your first time here. And I will see you guys in the trade recap and in Discord. Stay sharp today. Stay green. Stay safe. Let the trades come to you. Let them set up on their own. Do not force anything. All right, guys. Have a really good day today.